much of the force of inspiration. Among the many strange things that have befallen Venice, she has had the good fortune to become the object of passion to a man of splendid genius who has made her his own, and in doing so has made her the world's. There is no better reading at Venice, therefore, as I say, than Ruskin, for every true Venice lover can separate the wheat from the chaff. The narrow theological spirit, the moralism à tout propos, the queer provincialities and pruderies are mere wild weeds in a mountain of flowers. One may doubtless be very happy in Venice without reading at all, without criticising or analysing or thinking a strenuous thought. It is a city in which I suspect there is very little strenuous thinking, and yet it is a city in which there must be almost as much happiness as misery. The misery of Venice stands there for all the world to see. It is part of the spectacle. A thoroughgoing devotee of local colour might consistently say it is part of the pleasure. The Venetian people have little to call their own, little more than the bare privilege of leading their lives in the most beautiful of towns. Their habitations are decayed, their taxes heavy, their pockets light, their opportunities few. One receives an impression, however, that life presents itself to them with attractions not accounted for in this meagre train of advantages, and that they are on better terms with it than many people who have made a better bargain. They lie in the sunshine, they dabble in the sea, they wear bright rags, they fall into attitudes and harmonies, they assist at an eternal conversazione. It is not easy to say that one would have them other than they are, and it certainly would make an immense difference should they be better fed. The number of persons in Venice who evidently never have enough to eat is painfully large, but it will be more painful if we did not equally perceive that the rich Venetian temperament may bloom upon a dog's allowance. Nature has been kind to it, and sunshine and leisure and conversation and beautiful views form the greater part of its sustenance. It takes a great deal to make a successful American, but to make a happy Venetian takes only a handful of quick sensibility. The Italian people have at once the good and the evil fortune to be conscious of few wants, so that if the civilization of a society is measured by the number of its needs, as seems to be the common opinion today, it is to be feared that the children of the lagoon would make but a poor figure in a set of comparative tables. Not their misery, doubtless, but the way they elude their misery is what pleases the sentimental tourist, who is gratified by the sight of a beautiful race that lives by the aid of its imagination. The way to enjoy Venice is to follow the example of these people and make the most of simple pleasures. Almost all the pleasures of the place are simple. This may be maintained even under the imputation of ingenious paradox. There is no simpler pleasure than looking at a fine Titian, unless it be looking at a fine Tintoret or strolling into St. Mark's. Abominable the way one falls into the habit, and resting one's light-wearied eyes upon the windowless gloom, or then floating in a gondola, or then hanging over a balcony, or then taking one's coffee at Florian's. It is of such superficial pastimes that a Venetian day is composed, and the pleasure of the matter is in the emotions to which they minister. These are fortunately of the finest. Otherwise Venice would be insufferably dull. Reading Ruskin is good. Reading the old records is perhaps better. But the best thing of all is simply staying on. The only way to care for Venice as she deserves it is to give her a chance to touch you often, to linger and remain and return. 2. The danger is that you will not linger enough. A danger